Study magnetic fields, Amperes Circuital Law, series on electromagnetic field theory, lecture number 2.40. Amperes Circuital Law in study magnetic fields is similar to Gauss Law encountered in static electric fields. This law connects field with the source distribution. To be precise, it connects magnetic flux density with source electric current density. It has several practical applications. They include finding field intensity when source distribution is given. Biot-Savart law is available for this purpose, but it requires a lot of integration. Amperes Circuital Law, it is able to provide field intensity without requiring to do much calculation. Of course, it demands huge amount of symmetry in the source distribution. All the aspects pertaining to Amperes Circuital Law we are going to understand, we are going to study in the present session. What is Amperes Circuital Law? It describes EMF around a current distribution. MMF means H.dl. It connects magnetic field with current density. This is considered to be one of the two basic laws in static magnetic fields. It was derived for the first time by James Clerk Maxwell, not Ampere. It was published in 1861 in a paper titled On Physical Lines of Force. In 65, Maxwell generalized the relation to time-varying currents by adding the displacement current term to the equation. In the beginning, it was for static situation. Later, certain modification was done so that this law is most general, now applicable, valid even to dynamic situations also. Amperes Circuital Law is in terms of magnetic flux. Symbol of magnetic flux is phi, units are Webers, and flux density is there, it is B, units are Tesla. Flux density B and flux, these are related. Flux density B is flux per unit normal area, and hence these two are related through phi equal to integral B dot dA. Flux density B is also related to field intensity. That relation is B equal to mu H. It is very much similar to electrostatic case, that is D equal to epsilon E. Study magnetic fields, they run parallel to static electric fields. So many relations, they are very much similar in both the fields, electrostatics and study magnetic fields. Similar to several laws, Amperes Circuital Law also has two forms, integral form and a differential form. According to integral form of this law, the MMF H.dl gives us MMF. The MMF around any closed path is the net current through any surface S enclosed by that path. Mathematically, it can be stated as H.dl. This is the MMF, whereas this gives us current I. I is J.da. This can be stated in another way also. The circulation of magnetic flux density around any closed path is equal to mu times the net current flowing through any surface enclosed by that path. Here, mu is required to be there. The circulation of magnetic flux density around any closed path. It is this circulation around a closed path. It is mu times J.da. J.da. means current. Here, some explanation regarding current is given. MMF is computed around a closed path. Here, closed path is indicated by C, MMF around closed path. And current to be considered is the current that is passing through any surface that is having boundary of C. So here I1 is entering, I2 is leaving, so net current becomes I1 minus I2, elementary currents or line currents. Here this closed curve, it is enclosing line current, surface current and also volume current. So filamentary current, surface current, volume current. Net current becomes net current that is crossing the surface enclosed by the curve becomes I1 plus I2 plus I3, as all are in one direction. If the directions are opposite, then accordingly I enclosed has to be considered. So this I enclosed is J.da. in the equations. Now come to differential form. The curl of magnetic field intensity at an arbitrary point in the field is equal to volume current density at that point. This is differential form of the Amperes circuital law. Conversion from integral to differential form is quite easy. One can do it using curl theorem. H dot dl, closed line integral, it can be expressed as del cross H dot dA. This is curl theorem. So del cross H becomes, this is H dot dl is according to this Amperes circuital law, it is J dot dA, other side. So now compare these two. Then we will be getting del cross H equal to J or del cross B equal to mu J. Amperes circuital law, it is applicable even in the presence of magnetized objects. In the presence of magnetization or magnetized object carrying some free currents also, the total current J in the object becomes sum of bound current and free current. JB is bound current and JF is free current. Amperes law, when applied to such a magnetized object, becomes 1 by mu naught del cross B equal to J. This is the differential form of the law. B by mu naught is H. Del cross H equal to J is differential form. Here we are using B. So del 1 by mu naught del cross B becomes J. J has two parts, JF plus JB. JB means bound current. JF is free current. But JB is del cross M. We know pretty well that when an object is magnetized, it gives rise to certain amount of field, and that field is equal to the field given by certain surface currents and certain volume currents. The volume currents, they are given by del cross M. Bound volume current is given by del cross M. So a little bit of manipulation ultimately leads to H dot dl equal to IF enclosed. H dot dl is, of course, it is MMF around a closed path. IF, here F indicates that we have to consider free current. Differential form, it is del cross H equal to JF. JF is free current density. M is magnetization. We all know M is equal to xi E into xi M. Xi M means magnetic susceptibility. H is field intensity. M is magnetization. This is similar to polarization that happens in case of dielectrics. In case of linear magnetic materials, M is xi M into H. JB is del cross M, but M is xi M H. Therefore, further manipulation leads to JB is equal to xi M JF. So B equal to mu naught H plus M. B equal to mu naught H plus M gives rise to mu naught 1 plus xi M H. So this can be expressed as B equal to mu H. Mu is mu naught 1 plus psi M. So mu R equal to relative permeability becomes 1 plus psi M. It is similar to epsilon R equal to 1 plus psi E. As already mentioned, several laws, several relations in steady magnetic fields, they are very much similar to the relations we encountered in the study of steady or static electric fields. Amperes circuital law in integral form has an extraordinary power of computing fields quickly. This is the point which is to be noted. Quickly and easily when current distribution is symmetrical. It is highly useful in finding field intensity in case of infinite straight line currents, infinite plane sheet currents, infinite solenoidal coils, toroidal coils. These are the sum of the current distributions where Amperes circuital law is useful in finding field intensity. Amperes law in integral form is valid for all types of current distributions, line, source and volume currents, but in differential form, it is valid only for volume current distributions. Depending upon the symmetry exhibited by the current distribution, a closed path is required to be selected. It has been told to you the law is basically H dot dl I enclosed. This is the law. The left hand side, actually this is when this is used to find field intensity, it requires this integral to be evaluated. Left hand side we have closed line integral, closed path integration is there. So what happens is a path we have to select. A path is required to be chosen by the engineer or student. That path is called Amperean path. This path is called Amperian path or Amperian loop. Path over which integration is performed. It can be either circle or rectangular. Only two are possibilities, circle or rectangular. The integration involved in the application of Ampere's law becomes simpler only when field is either normal or tangential. The path, only two possibilities are there. It can be rectangular or it can be circle. Out of these two, one has to be selected depending upon the symmetry exhibited by the source distribution, and it has to be placed appropriately. So the shape of the loop, and the location, its location with respect to the source distribution, these two things are to be done in such a way that the field is either normal or tangential to the Amperian loop. Additionally, whenever field is tangential, its value must remain constant over the loop. Hence, Amperian loop is required to be placed consciously, wisely, so that field is either normal or tangential to the loop. It is not a mechanical application. Some kind of thinking is required. It is also possible to apply Ampere's law to combinations of current distributions possessing symmetry, even though the arrangement as a whole may not be symmetrical. Law is applied on individual distributions to find their fields, and then using superposition principle, combining the fields of individual sources, the field intensity of complete distribution can be found. Here is given some information which is useful while applying Ampere's circuital law to find field intensity. Amperian loops are two in number. One is circular, another is rectangular. Circular loop is used in case of infinite straight line current, infinite straight coaxial cable, toroidal coil, infinite plane sheet current, and solenoidal. In these two cases, rectangular loop is used. What are these current distributions? So if you consider a conductor, straight conductor, infinity upwards, infinity downwards, carrying certain current, then that is infinite straight line current. Infinite straight coaxial cable means coaxial cable with an inner conductor and outer conductor, lengthwise infinity upwards, infinity downwards, then that is infinite straight coaxial cable. Toroidal coil means take a coil like this and closed. Let it be closed, one end or the other end. This is toroidal coil. The cross-sectional area may be rectangular, it may be circular, or whatever it is. Infinite plane sheet means it's a plane sheet carrying some current. Infinite in all the four directions. Four directions, it should be extended to, it must be have extended to infinity. Then what is solenoidal? Take a wire and wound like this. Then that is solenoid. Notice the similarity or connection between solenoidal and toroidal. Toroidal comes into picture, into being when one end of solenoid is connected to its other end. This is what I want to share with you regarding Ampere's circuital law.